I'm good, thank you. My name is Stella Damascus. I'm from Nigeria, Delta State to be precise. I'm so many things, but everybody knows me as an actor. But I'm a singer, I'm a blogger, I'm an author, I'm a producer as well. I do a lot of things, but I'm an entertainer, full-blown entertainer. I started when I was a kid. I actually thought I was going to be a teacher. Interesting story when I was a kid, but I started watching people on TV, and I was just interested in the way people could tell stories. They could capture my attention for hours, and they would pull me into their world with the kind of stories they told. And I loved the way the actors were able to do that, become different people. I was so intrigued by the fact that as a human being you can become different things at once, So I just thought this might be fun. So when I was in kindergarten, that's when I started actually with school plays and all of that, and then to primary school. But when I went into college, university, I studied business and industrial law because my parents were like, you can't do acting, you can't do that. It's for people who don't have anything to do, people who are school dropouts, so you have to do law. So I studied that, but moving forward, I just knew there was something else that my heart wanted. I was passionate about the arts and everything, and then I went to study theatre arts in the University of Lagos and came to Lagos, started working in the studio, did not have any idea that I could break into mainstream movie making or anything. Then a friend of mine came to my house one day and said, I'm going for an audition. Would you like to come with me? I wasn't going for the audition, but she just said, come with me. I hadn't even taken a bath that day, so I was just wearing a huge t-shirt, a pair of jeans and slippers. So I went with her. She went in for the audition, they finished, and as I was about to leave, someone walked out from the room, one of the casting directors, and he said, have you been auditioned? I said, no, that's not what I came for. I came with a friend. And I said, I like the way you look, I like the way you sound, come inside. I thought it was a joke because I was just a studio singer, that's all I did. And then I went inside, they gave me a script, I read it, I was laughing all the way through, I wasn't serious. But 3 weeks later, they came to my place of work and they were like, you got the part. I'm like, what? This is a joke. And they paid me more money than I had received in 2-3 months put together working as a studio, as a studio rat. And I did the movie, they liked it, other people started calling me for movies, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is working. And I just continued from then on. It was fun. Abused. 1995. Wow. 20 years, over 2 decades. Yeah, about 24 years. My greatest accomplishment would be the fact that I have remained relevant till date. That's one of the most difficult things to do. It's not about the awards, it's not about the fame or the instant gratification. For me, it's the fact that I'm still relevant till today, to the people who knew me when I started in the industry. And the fact that I'm able to give other people hope that it's possible to do what you love and do it for this long, the whole idea is to go bigger, because my greatest will be when I stand on that Oscar stage and give my speech. But for now, it's the fact that I'm still relevant and I'm still respected, I'm still working, and I'm still an inspiration to my children first. That's my greatest accomplishment here. When we moved to America, we moved as a family, my husband and my kids. It was a unanimous decision that we all made, because for me, you get to a point in your life and in your career where you ask yourself, what next? When you get to a certain height, in your career, and you don't want to feel complacent, or you don't want to feel, oh, I've arrived, and just coast and feel that you have it all. But you don't realize that there's a bigger world out there that you have to also try and get into, then conquer it. So I just thought, after all of this, where am I going next? The next is global. That's where everybody, hopes to get to. My husband, the same thing. He wanted to make bigger films, international films, and then I also wanted my children to have some type of opportunity that a lot of us didn't have growing up in Africa. Their education was very important to me, healthcare was very important to me, but most importantly, a place where we had an enabling environment, to do the kind of things that we wanted to do. That's why we moved to America and said, okay, let's see how it goes, let's see what we can do, let's see how we can reposition ourselves and our children, to achieve more. And then we came to America, and it wasn't as easy as the movies make it out to be, so don't be fooled. Making it here in this country is not easy at all, because there are all sorts of hoops that you have to jump through and everything. I faced a lot of things trying to get into the industry in America, with people telling me that I wasn't dark enough, you know, to be African. I wasn't thin enough, and I wasn't a plus size. My skin tone, they couldn't define it. My accent, they couldn't define it, because I didn't sound like the African that they wanted to, or that they're used to. So they didn't know where to place me and all of that. So I would meet with people, meet with agents, meet with, you know, different casting directors, and they would love my talent. You're talented, you're amazing, but you're African, but you're not really African. And I'm like, I don't get I don't get it. So, but the beauty of my life is that I'm married to someone who can, you know, create content. He's a producer, a director. I'm a producer, I'm an actor as well. So we decided to start creating our own content and start putting it out there. And gradually we started getting recognized by a few people here and there and all of that. And we know that in the nearest future, you know, we will grow. It's not an easy task, but we're not giving up, we're pushing, and we will grow. But I know that it was a great decision to come here and do it. I think so far my favorite will be Between, because I did things in that movie that I'd never done before in my whole career. I was bold, I was daring. There were some scenes that the first time I saw the finished thing, when I saw those things, I was cringing in my chair, and I'm like, my kids watch this. It was madness. I didn't even believe that we could pull it off, but I loved it. I loved the fact that for a change, I had a role that was strong, professional, was different, you know, a role that would make me feel like, yes, this is the kind of woman I want to see moving forward, especially as a black woman. But that role really opened my eyes to a lot of things, not just because we wrote it, but the fact that I could see people react to it in such a way that really blew my mind. The role just changed me as a person as well. So that, I would say, is my favorite role so far. The industry is growing. People are beginning to know the Nigerian cinema, the African cinema, like they'd never known before. Because a couple of years ago, a lot of people inside of America, especially, you know, the Caucasians, they didn't know what the African cinema was about. They know of our continent, but didn't really know about our industry. But now we are opening doors, we are breaking the barriers, we are screening in Toronto Film Festival, we're screening in LA, we're doing Hollywood meets Nollywood. We're doing a lot of things that are opening us up to the mainstream entertainment circle in America. So we are growing, and I know that in the next 5 years, at least, we will have some of our films at the Oscars. By then, we should be able to have that. One of the first things that I say is we need capacity building in our film industry, and it's not about ego. That's the first thing that kills entertainers, because I'm one, so I know how it is when we have ego. But we have to come to a point where we accept learning, we accept capacity building, we go back to the drawing board. Because trust me, when we came to America, my husband went back to film school, even though he had done like 3 different film schools in his lifetime. I had to go back to acting school. I went to like 3-4 different ones, and I'm still doing acting classes as well, you know. So it's one thing that we have to understand, that to go global, you have to know how it is done outside, because we are a different kind of people. Africans are very expressive and loud, but in filmmaking is totally different. That's one. Secondly, we also have to pay attention to the guilds and the associations and what it does for people. You know, when you're in SAG-AFTRA, or you're in the Directors Guild of America or whatever, you know that you have benefits, you know that you have health insurance, you know that you have things that can protect you, you know, stuff like that. You have legal, you have people backing you and all that. We need that in Nigeria as well, because we have a lot of people in the industry who are so broke. We don't have anything called the residual checks, where you do a series on TV and then if they show it in Cameroon or anywhere else, as an actor you still get paid. We don't have any of that there. We need that structure. We need our people to understand what it takes to run these guilds and these associations, so that the practitioners in the industry can benefit from it, so that the younger people that are coming in can learn from us and make it better. And we also need to introduce technology in what we're doing, proper technology in what we're doing, the way they have it here and all of that. There's so many other things, but for me, those two are the most important right now for me as far as I'm concerned. So, okay, that was many years ago in Ghana. I went for an event, and at the after party there was this lady that walked up to me, very nice looking lady, and she wanted to take off her top so I could sign an autograph on her chest. I'm telling you, and I just kept saying, no, I'm sorry, I can sign anywhere else, but don't do that. And she was like, no, I don't mind. I want to. I thought she was high, but apparently she wasn't. She was just excited to see me. She said she loves me, her whole family loves me, and she just wanted me to sign on her chest, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, but that was very weird to me, very weird. I would either be a teacher or a lawyer. First a teacher, then maybe law later. Yeah, that's what I've always wanted to do. I teach now. I teach acting now. I have something called an Actors Playhouse. So I have students, because it's an online thing, so I have students from all over the world. So I'm already teaching because it's something that I'm passionate about. So, but as regards law, I'm not sure about that one because that would take a long time. But with the teaching, I'm already doing that and I'm enjoying it as well. Before we released because we shot between 2015, true story, but we didn't want to release it because we wanted to test the market to see, what it would be like, what steps we needed to take to move our content forward. So we made a short film called Here, and that was a year ago, and we decided to release it this year. And when we released it, we were shocked at the response it got. In fact, there was a film festival that invited us to Germany, to show the film. And we got there and our film won an award in the running for something else that's coming up next year. And we said, okay, now that we understand, some things about content and all of that in America, let's release Between. And we put Between in a film festival last year at the Glen Fest Film Festival somewhere in California as well. And it was very good. The reviews were good. And then we did the premiere in the UK about 2-3 weeks ago, and the response was amazing. It was bigger than I thought. And we came down to LA, thanks to Amplify Africa. We came down to LA to do a private screening of the film, and the reviews have been amazing as well. And we're encouraged at the fact that people see our film, they don't put us in a box, but they just enjoy the film because it has a global theme and is doing very well. And we're hoping that our film finds a home somewhere. But moving forward, we have a lot of content that we're putting out very soon that we've been working on. We have an online series, we have a mini series that we're trying to do as well. We have another movie coming up. We have done 2 movies, Daniel and I, together with other people as well, that we haven't even released. So there's so many things that are going to be coming up in the future. It's all about putting the work out there, putting good work out there, and keep pushing until something happens. First of all, people don't know, I have a podcast called Excuse My African, and it's a podcast that talks about everything Africa that's positive. From the people to the places to the work that we do to who we are to our history. I do that. I also have another one called An African Girl Abroad. It's an online program where I project the image of Africa everywhere I go. So everything I do is African based. I have an online clothing store as well. It's called Code 55, but I do Excuse My African Clothing, where the images on our clothes, they're all of different African women, shapes and sizes, different types of hair, different types of skin tones, very dark, bald, 4C hair, everything you can think of. So I've been doing a lot of things to promote Africa as well. I also fight against child marriage and domestic violence, especially in Africa, with my foundation, Stella, the Damascus Arts Foundation. So everything I do is about Africa. That's the funny thing. I always project the positive and good image